Hi, and welcome back to the Fab Over 40 show, to this week's episode, which is entitled A Successful Cage is Still a Cage. This episode is a continuation of the conversation I've been opening up recently around what it feels and means to me, what freedom is, and it may resonate with you too. And today I want to share something that landed very simply for me, but changed everything when I saw it. Because maybe, like me, you were told that success looked like more growth, more income, more visibility, especially more visibility in this day and age. And many people are achieving that. But here's the question I started asking myself as I watched others that I initially admired and aimed to replicate. Tony Robbins says success leaves clues. And I resonated to that and started following these people. But then I started to think, what if it works, but it doesn't feel like freedom? This was a question nobody seemed to be asking as I watched quietly from the sidelines, even themselves. Because you can build something that looks incredible on the outside and still feels completely that you're completely tied to it. You can have a business, I know now, you can have a business that generates income, a platform that grows, opportunities that open up because of it, and still feel like you can't switch off. You always have to be on, and everything depends on you. And that's when it hit me. A successful cage is still a cage. And the reason this mattered to me is because from the outside, like I said, no one seemed to be questioning it. They even celebrated it. It looks like success, but on the inside, it still feels like pressure. And I could see person after person burning out, getting ill, and unfortunately, in one situation, even dying at the age of 34, even though it seemed that they had it all. But they never switched off, and they had a very energetic, enigmatic personality, and subconsciously they propelled a non-switch off kind of lifestyle, almost like a cult following of people that emulated that. That was what really switched me off. And even then, in some cases, that wasn't enough of a wake-up call from the universe. Yes, this is where I get a bit woo-woo. I believe the universe is trying to speak to us all the time, but we usually keep ourselves so busy we can't hear the call. So it has to knock us on the head to get our attention. Sound familiar? I'm just coming up to the 10th anniversary of breaking my leg and ankle in 4 places just by putting the trash out. Yeah, you heard that right. And it was just before and meant that I missed my daughter's wedding in Jamaica. Thankfully, nobody died, which is what I kept telling people when they kept telling me, especially at the reception, as I was hobbling around in my plaster, covering it up with a very beautiful floaty dress, may I ask, and a funky um, unicorn sock. They were telling me how terrible it all was. But I was still in my attitude of gratitude. Like I said, nobody died. But what I didn't tell people, as I was seen to be becoming the gratitude queen, was how completely overwhelmed and stressed I was in my corporate job that I absolutely hated into the bargain. But that's all in the past. And I'm no longer interested in building something that only works when I do, depends on constant output, or requires me to override myself. I wore that t-shirt in my brick and mortar business. And that's when I actually started to look at people in the online space that seem to have it all. The location freedom, the financial freedom, and the time freedom. But did they really have the time freedom? Most models operate on them showing up constantly and consistently, and that's the model they taught, and they still teach. What I want now is different. I'm actually not about teaching anymore. I'm about embodying. I'm about embodying leverage, sustainability, and space. A business that continues to move even when I step back. And that's what I'm exploring and experimenting with at the moment. Because for me now, freedom has to feel like freedom on the inside first. Otherwise, what are we actually building? So if you're building something right now and something about this resonates, maybe that's the universe calling you to remember who you truly are and offer your gifts and talents in an aligned way. If you've ever wanted something of your own but never built it from whatever reason, maybe constant Facebook lives and 5-day challenges do not rock your boat, but you have that itch from the inside, which is something that I heard recently somebody say they were itching from the inside, and it made me laugh. Maybe it's making you laugh now because you've never thought of it like that. But yeah, I got it so much in that corporate job or everything I was doing. I I was working my way up in the corporate success ladder, not intentionally, but for my own preference, thinking that that's what we had to do to be successful. But I could not stop that itch. It wouldn't go away. So if it won't go away for you, and if this conversation is landing, this is exactly what I'm exploring more of, both inside these conversations and something I'm calling aligned and free. You'll actually find a link in the show notes for my free little aligned and free reset to start you on a different journey, possibly to realign your mindset and be the kickstart that you need. And it may be just the exact breath of fresh air you're looking for right now, and that's all it is. So thank you for being here, and thank you for taking the time to listen, because I'm just starting to explore this conversation. I'm just trying to keep them short and sweet and bite sized, and a little piece each week as we go along the journey of exploration. And I truly do appreciate it. And if you did enjoy the conversation or are eager to learn more, I would love it if you subscribed. This conversation feels totally in alignment with what was motivating me, like those things that I've seen, but I was not actually articulating it. And now that I've started to articulate it, it feels what I'm in alignment with, and it has just started to flow. So I'll speak to you on the next episode. And until next time, remember, reclaim, and rise to who you were always meant to be. Have a fabulous week, and I will see you on the next episode.